게임은 재밌으면 된다니까?
불멸의 전사 2.
Welcome back to the next arena. KT Rolster up 3-0. It's really just one man behind it all stats. And we're going to find out who SKT has sent to do the job of reverse all killing. A very rare task to even encounter for this team. Never really find themselves down 0-3. Let's find out who it is, GTR. The last man standing, it's soO!
soO! Actually, quite a surprise, because if we look at our stats sheet right here, the only players that have all killed and for SK Telecom T1, Innovation 3 times, Classic once.
Yep. soO has twice gotten 2 kills. That's the most he's ever done, okay? Now, when I look at this, I think to myself, Innovation is the most obvious, most likely choice. They must know something I don't. You know, they must be seeing soO have incredible results in practice. He is 8-2. You know, he's quietly one of the most successful players in Pro League. You know, not as much, or perhaps not as famous as Maru with like his incredible record. But I have to say, I don't agree with this choice, personally.
I feel that Innovation would be the better choice considering the matchups that Innovation would have to play rather than the matchups that soO has to play. I just feel that soO against TY and against Zest, he'd stand less of a chance if Innovation played against TY or Zest.
Yeah, I have to agree 100%. But again, SKT coach, now that Coach Park's gone, I would say best StarCraft coach in the world. And he made this choice, and we have to believe in him. The SKT fans have to believe. But Stats is just one win away from closing this out 4-0. Let's find out if he can do it. In the top left, in red, 1 kill away from ending it all, it's Stats.
And spawning here at the bottom right of King Sejong Station, backs against the wall, this guy has to do it all for the team, it's soO.
By the way, looking at some stats here, Stats has the most all kills out of anyone on both these teams at 4 times. He also has 3 kills and 3 2 kills. So if you add that all together,
these are StarCraft 2 only all kills, right?
Yeah. So if you add that all together, that's a lot. I'm like 4 times 4 is 16 plus 3 times 3 is 9, so 25 plus 6, so 31 kills alone for Stats. So that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I think what's crazy is that throughout the past that we've had StarCraft 2 being played in Pro League, it's been those 3 players that have carried KT Rolster in these playoff situations.
Yep, and that's why this is the way they win it, and why I said so many times earlier that if SKT trades 1 for 1 for 1, the depth of the roster, like, it just kind of falls apart, right? But, you know, this is a perfect scenario for KT Rolster because now one of their 3, either it's Stats, TY, or Zest, all they need to do is win 1 time. And even if Lucero comes out, he could take a win, right? So, like, there's just, when you look at that, it's like, well, this is an incredible scenario where soO has to defeat 4 KT Rolster players. He has to do the reverse all kill.
Not only that, but if we look at the next maps, Frost, Lorelak Crest, Orbital Shipyard, you can tailor the players that you want to play on those maps. So there's so much flexibility here for KT Rolster coming into this reverse all-kill situation that soO has to do.
Now, soO is a type of player who plays best under pressure. He's garnered the nickname in Korea, Angry soO, because when he seems to be angry in the booth, that's when he plays his best. And
I'd be pretty angry as well right now if I was sent out in this situation.
You can see him in the booth, actually. I looked at him before we even started this game. He's taking deep breaths. He's really trying to calm himself down because one mistake and it's all over, and SKT does not go to the finals. It'll be the first time in a while.
Well, they want their revenge on Jin Air, so... Oh, no, they beat Jin Air last time.
They want to hold their title.
Yeah, they want to hold the title.
But if they don't even go there, then they don't even have the opportunity to defend it.
Well, this is going to be a very arduous task here from soO to do the reverse all kill. Like, historically, we've seldom seen players do reverse all kills in the playoffs, so
it's very rare.
Very rare.
SOS's reverse all kill is the most famous one that comes to mind.
KT.
Yep. And that's something that when you look at SOS, the type of player that he is, he's just so smart, and he does have like these specific one-off builds, these timings and things like that. I would say that soO is very similar to that in a lot of ways. He's really good at these timing attacks. You know, you give him 4 different opponents, he might have a different strategy for each one, and if he, you know, executes it well, he could do it. But I just feel like when you look at it on paper, innovation is a better choice. Honestly, I'd even like lean towards Myungshik as being a better choice.
Oh
than
no! soO actually didn't get to scout that Stargate that was placed on the right. Again, finally he sees it. That was that would have been a heartbreaker for soO if he didn't scout that Stargate that was building the Oracle.
He even gets nearly a probe there with his link speed finishing. One more swipe would have done it. Oh, not a tight wall here, so it could find a little bit more damage. It's always funny when small amounts of links get in like this, because soO's like, well, I mean, I probably won't get anything this anyway.
And actually, Stats is expanding behind this. He's going to bank on that one Oracle to help him defend from any sort of attack that soO's
Oh, he got that probe from earlier. He's like, gotcha.
That's cute.
2 spores going to be finished at home as well as that 3rd queen. So he should be ready to lock this down. A 3rd spore added just for safety measures.
Yeah, there's no lair yet, but I don't think he's thinking about getting the lair up. Just going to work on using these queens, using those spore crawlers for his anti-air, because he knows that. Actually, let me check the vision of soO right now. He isn't actually aware that there is a 3rd up yet, so.
I think he's got a good idea, though, right?
Counting like the gateways and the tech that Stats has right now, I'm pretty sure he's pretty confident that Stats has taken that 3rd base.
Yeah, I mean, he like literally saw everything like 4 times because he keeps getting lings in, and Stats has been a bit flustered by this, as you guys can see, like struggling to deal with 1 ling in the main there that scouted everything once more. The Baneling Nest and an Evolution Chamber coming up, as soO will follow the example of his teammate here and show us some Baneling aggression as he takes a 4th much faster than what Dark showed us, and obviously a much greedier 4th in many ways because of its positioning. But because he knows that, and I think he's now confirmed with the Overlord, that Stats has gone for such a greedy 3rd base, this is not actually that risky overall, and he's going to take a +1, even grabbing Burrow temporarily, but decides to cancel it.
Yeah, note the placement of that 4th base is at that upper ground expansion rather than that that expansion near the watchtower. So it's obvious that, judging by the placement of that expansion, he wants to use that higher ground advantage that he has by taking that expansion and maybe do some sort of iron wall or spine crawlers, and stop him from finally coming in.
I'm starting to get the impression this may be a lurker-based play out of soO, and not the Baneling-based play that his teammate is so known for. As the Overlord will come in here, it's already scouted, 2 Stalkers warped in, and you know, actually if he gets all those unloaded, they may be able to just fight the Stalkers. A few more Stalkers being warped in. Looks like he's going to have to hightail it out of there with those lings and Overlord, but scouts again, sees the Forge is spinning. What's going on.
Yep, as you said before, we do see that +1 range attack coming here from soO. He's getting the Roach Roar and he's getting the Hydralisk Den. And you have to remember, Overgrowth and King Sejong Station, sure they're 2-player maps, but they're much different map architectures to them. There's a lot of narrow choke points on King Sejong Station that favor the Lurker play, and I think we're going to see that, as you said before. We see the Lurker Den being built here from soO.
Yeah, and this is, you know, I guess like not a bad idea for the map, especially if you get this 4th base up this early. You do have control of that high ground. It's hard for the Protoss to punish you or be aggressive there. And it's also a position in which you can defend and reinforce attacks very easily because you're closer to the Protoss, and Lurker's obviously very difficult to move across the map with. If he had taken the base towards a 3-cog expansion, it would have been just a bit more distance. Lurkers and Hydras both really do well in this high ground environment as well. Whereas Banelings, for example, on this high ground don't get any advantage whatsoever, and also have the disadvantage of having to go down potentially one of these 2 ramps where they can get forested off. Kind of like what happened to Dark in the previous set, game number 3. So I do like this idea, and already the Baneling style has been tested and failed versus Stats, so I do like this choice for soO to kind of try something different. His teammate failed with one style, and he's going to try the second, which is arguably much better for the map. Oh,
but Stats is actually hitting a nice timing here before the Lurkers do come out. He's going to get some creep tumors at that 4th base. A nice drop here from soO. He's going to pick up... Oh, okay, he's actually focusing on the Stalkers. He doesn't actually get any probes there, which is quite unfortunate, and looks like Stats might be going to try and hit on this back rock.
This looks like a Heart of the Swarm game with Hydra's trying to defend against Blinkstalker +2 coming in. I mean, this is King Sejong Station last year, all right? Let's see if he can hold this. There's a few sentries here. Those Lings might get trapped.
There are 7 Lurkers being morphed in for soO, and once he gets those Lurkers up onto the top of the ramp, there's no way that Stats can break through that.
Yeah, and all he has to do is leave the Lurkers on one location and his Hydras and Lings on the other, and the Stalkers basically can't break either. It's going to be incredibly difficult, especially with Spore support to snipe observers and things of that nature. The Oracle has been the big spotter here for Stats. So if he loses that, I feel like soO does gain a bit of an advantage. And he is working on building his immortal count. As Classic showed us yesterday, it turns out once you have more than a dozen immortals, you can pretty much fight any ground-based Zerg army, even if they have twice as many Hydras as you have immortals.
Yeah, the question is, can soO kill Stats off before he gets that critical amount of immortals? Because as you said before, that game against Bjol, he had, what, 15 immortals in his armor composition, just literally wrecked everything, any sort of units that Bjol had. But we see here now soO is actually trying to go for the pressure onto the back rocks.
Look at this drop defense up as well.
Yep.
He's not leaving anything to chance, and this is what I was talking about. When you take this 4th base, you can attack and defend with Lurkers so much easier. And now he's going to concave at the bottom of this ramp. Stats is never leaving this location. He is doing a big warp in his Zealots, which could hit this maybe too hard, actually, at the natural, because soO is not prepared for this many units. He's only got a few Hydras back there.
I love these Queens here added to the composition of soO with this harassment. He can easily transfuse those Lurkers if they do get shot. Oh!
DT is coming out, though.
No detection.
No detection and no transfuses.
That's a run back.
And here come those Zealots I was talking about. This could be a serious issue because he didn't leave that much at home. And now he's caught with his pants down here because Lurkers are forced to move. His detection's in the wrong place. Send his Overseer back to deal with the Zealots. This is pure Zealots. So many drones going down. 12 dead already. And where's the detection for these DTs?
I mean, you have to also consider that soO was maxed out. So once those Zealots did attack that expansion, there was nothing that soO could do about it because he had no units to build.
Lurkers can't kill DTs unless they're burrowed as well. He needs to get those under the ground here. DT's doing so much damage here. But also, I feel like more importantly than killing those Lurkers, he scouted the Mutalisk transition. There are 16 Mutas on the map. 20 Blinkstalkers, though, already at the helm here for Stats. He just needs to have them in the right place at the right time.
There's actually a lot of Mutas here.
Yeah, a lot of the Stalkers are out of position. He sees this with the Watchtower, too. He needs to get those Stalkers into position.
I think soO definitely needs to shut down this 4th base here of Stats. If he shuts down this 4th base, then it's going to be very hard for Stats to come back into this game, especially considering the fact that soO has his own 5th base there sitting at the bottom left side of the map.
Already a fleet beacon's on the way for Anion Pulse Crystals. Stargate is already up. Phoenix is on the way. He's getting a second, and I believe even a 3rd Stargate with +1 coming up. This is bringing the Protoss army back, so we could see a Ling run by at that 4th base. So many probes dying, though, and that's the big story here.
Oh, you definitely don't want to be flying your Mutalisk onto those photo and overcharges on the pylons there, though.
He could get caught here with a few Stalkers coming in, but actually does escape with most of his Mutalisks, and that 4th base is exposed. 3 Photon Cannons and 3 Stalkers here. If he's setting the Lings, I feel like this would be a lot easier to take out. It's pretty tough to actually make the commitment with this small Mutalisk count.
That one Stalker just went forward.
He baits him in a little bit.
Baits it, yeah.
Meanwhile, that Lurker Ling army is hitting the natural.
And Stats completely caught out of position here.
He's got Overseers with this
he's
time.
going to use the Changeling to block the ramp. That's going to be amazing here.
If he actually gets these Lurkers on top of this ramp as well, it's huge. And there you go. There's the Changelings blocking the ramp. Perfect control here.
We see counterattack here with the Zealots and Dark Templars.
Okay, this is actually going to become a crazy game because he's maybe going to kill that Robo as well, which will really limit the detection of Stats.
And he has no the thing with the soO is that he has no anti-air to deal with these Phoenixes and the Observer, but that being said, though, it is only 4 Phoenixes, so it's not going to be a critical mass of Phoenixes to do too much damage. And soO has to move back here, but it does kill that expansion.
That one Observer is getting so much value right now, and he sends Mutalisk back to defend an almost pure Stalker army. A few Hydras coming out here. I'm really liking Stats' position in this game, though, as the Lurkers have to walk home as well.
Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be a trade here, but oh my god, these Stalkers are just being so much more cost-efficient battling these Mutalisks.
The Mutalisks don't have good upgrades. The Stalkers are about to have +3, and he trades decently well. He has to retreat now, and he's going to lose the bulk of this army. But the thing is, these Mutalisks are not going to be able to deal with the Phoenixes. He needs to kill the Mutalisks so that his Immortals can get serious damage down. Stats is way out. multitasking soO right now. He's everywhere at once. He's hitting the natural, he backs off, and now he hits the fourth base with the Immortal Ground Army. It's going to go down as well. This is going to become perhaps even a base trade.
Yeah, I mean, these Immortals are just sitting here at the bottom side of the map and they're just sniping hatcheries left and right. But these Phoenixes with Anya and Pulse Crystals, I believe. He's also got a Mothership Core as well.
Yeah. All right, so these Immortals, how is he going to ever deal with these? He lost all of his Mutalisks. Okay, no, he's got 4 Mutalisks left in total. Another base is being remade. I think Dark is in some serious trouble. If you look at the supplies, it doesn't look necessarily that way, but he's about to secure the better economy. Look at this, Lurker Den's going to get taken out here.
soO has a nice bank though. That's what's working for him. If he manages to build the right unit, it's a nice pick up there, getting the Hydra. Like, every unit counts in this situation.
Oh, absolutely. This is a really scrappy game we're in right now. The Immortal's still alive here, and they're just going to right-click on this base, looks like, with some Archon Zealot support and all these Phoenixes. This may just be checkmate here. soO needs to get into position. He has so many Hydras, 26 of them. He needs to get them over here. He needs to fan them out and get a
nice force
concave.
field. He's going to get that force field in between that cavern and that spire. But actually, he might be able to surround this army.
Oh, if he catches Stats' army, this could turn this game around.
There's no observer with this army as well, so he has to run away from the lurkers. But there's Mothership Core.
There's one observer here. That's the only observer on the entire map. Very important not to lose that. Don't forget as well, I mean, the Overseers are here, so this cloaking Mothership isn't going to be too useful.
I mean, this game is so scrappy and actually has to recall here. Best choice, he needs to save as many units as he can, considering the situation that we're in right now.
A few mutas come out to die here, unfortunately. Not able to save those. No Spore Crawler ready just yet.
Oh, he has to rebuild the robotics facilities as well, so there's no observers.
I was talking about that earlier. One observer on the map. He lost his Oracle earlier. He still has some Stargates, but I mean, do you really want to be building an Oracle just for detection when you're this low on gas?
Right there. There's the Oracle, but looks like soO's going in for an attack here.
Comes, and it's Lurkers right now.
I mean, these Lurkers are just getting demolished by these Immortals.
And I think this is actually just not enough. Like, the Overseers have to come back. He's got a lot of Hydras here, but this is a +3 Protoss army with barriers and Archons. And this looks like it is going to be game over. And Stats will take it. GG! KT! Stats!
I did not expect Stats to all kill today, but he bought his A game. No, he didn't even bring his A game. He bought his S game today because he played so well. He not only he took out Classic in that first game into PvP, he took out 3 Zergs of SK Telecom T1 with different strategies. And he gets the all-kill here today, and KT Rollstar will face Jin Air in the finals on Saturday.
That is exactly right. And this has been just, I think, again, a living proof that the all-kill format will go to KT Rollstar when they come prepared like this. And it's kind of terrifying for Jin Air as well, because I think they were hoping that whoever advances doesn't advance this easily, so they can see the most games possible, study the most, because they actually have a lot more prep time. There was 1 day between these 2 matches, but until Saturday we now have 4 more days. So there's a lot more time to prepare, there's a lot more time to get ready. And I think Jin Air, personally, I've been on the Jin Air hype plane since the beginning of this round, and I still think they're going to take the whole season, but the fact that there's less to study now for them is somewhat scary.
It's unfortunate for SK Telecom T1. They got all killed here. They decided to use players such as Impact, such as what was it, Dark in that 3rd match. I feel like they should have used players like Dream and Innovation, but I guess the SKT coaches do know best.
GTR. Oh, wait, I got it. All right. What I'm trying to say is I agree. I want to be critical of these choices as well. But when you're dealing with the coach, the best coach in the world right now, and the best team in the world, you know, stats-wise, it's hard to be critical. But I personally would not have made those choices myself.
Well, I mean, Dark and soO makes sense, but Impact was the most questionable one out of the lot. I guess.